Hey yo, what is poppin' people? It is your boy Champ. Of course, another day, another LUTI match, and I am joined here with none other than the legendary. Come on, introduce yourself. Let the people know who you are.
Hello, hello. I am Weef. We're here with a exciting. What is this? Div 8 set right now.
Div 8.
It is. Sorry. I had everything prepared. Now I'm all scatterbrained. But it is. Sorry. We're here live with Drizzle versus Spirit Inc.
There
here
we
in this
go.
beautiful, beautiful day.
Speaking of beautiful days, like, the thing is, like, I'm not a big fan of Splatfest, right? But the game is so beautiful when it is like actually time for it. You get what I'm saying?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
yeah, we're like, you guys don't see this right now, but we're in the lobby, and it's just this lovely like orange hue, man. I'm just such a big fan of it.
yeah. I remember last Splatfest. There was the visual glitch where the sky was still blue. It was very, very weird.
That
But
happened. Wait, what? I
yeah,
didn't. I must have not played the game when that
yeah,
happened.
no, it was exciting. But here on the beautiful Splatfest Eve, looking forward to a exciting match.
I believe the first stage is going to be Clam Blitz Scorch Gorge. Yes.
Yeah, that is correct.
All right.
Scorch
So
Gorge is a map that gets like a lot of flack, but I think Clamblitz is actually
deserves flack. Let's be
well,
deserves
well,
flack.
well, well, well. I think Clamblitz is one of its most playable modes, and
Yeah,
as
I
we
was
get
actually
into
gonna
it,
say Clams is definitely one of the better ones.
we'll see how it goes here.
All right, so here's the thing. I was gonna say, are you really expecting to see anything specific in the comms? But I was gonna say, since this is Division 8, it's probably gonna be a bit
Oh, yeah,
more of a difference. But
complete
actually,
wild card.
looking at it, it's not really straying from the usual comms that we see in higher and top levels of play here. As you can see, we have the two crabs. We have actually a lot more wave breakers than I expected, but of course the signature machine. So of course taking the first play here, we're going to be watching this L3. More than likely going to be building up their crab, but of course the crab tank is the lifeblood of this game here. You have the crab, you have a immediate way of getting in. Of course we're going to be seeing who I believe is Bluebella, if I
Yep.
recall correctly. Of course Bluebella on the L3, putting down a lovely path of ink for their team here. Just a very good support. Crab isn't going to find a pick, but it is going to be a very solid distraction. So what's your thoughts so far?
It looks like Drizzle's running a really interesting comp. L3 and Dapple, like, I mean, obviously you see the crab a lot, but you don't really see these two crab weapons picked. And you do see two go down on the side of Drizzle, though, unfortunately, as Spirit Inc. is starting to get right into their clan basket area and is getting geared up for a push. Three go down, they're basically wiped. All that's left is that C Junior throwing torpedoes, just hoping to stall them for a little bit longer, as they already have 40 clams in and are still going back to get more. They are losing a bit of control of the basket, but they're going to come back in with more clams and a bit more special charge and just be able to stall this out for quite a while, actually. Drizzle is starting to get their footing back again, but they go two down, and so this push is going to just keep on going. 70 points on the board with no real sign of stopping.
All right, so Drizzle definitely has a very long way to come if they are to somehow get back into this game. Because Spirit Inc. right now, ladies and gentlemen, being incredibly relentless. A push straight to 11. That is 88 points just wiped clean. Not even in the second minute of this match yet. Definitely looking very good if you are Spirit Inc. And Drizzle is probably sweating. A storm coming out of them. So of course they still do have the double crab tank. So it is not over until they really think that it is over. We're going to be seeing two crabs on top mid here. Not going to be finding any picks so far, but they should get that kill on the machine. Very good stuff from them. Torpedo trying to, of course, stall them out for as long as possible. A crab tank is going to be popped from that Splashmatic. The superior crab tank, of course. The best crab tank weapon in the game, and just the best weapon in the game in general. But
That's something you don't hear very often. Well, we do see one more go down. It's still a scrap. Whoever's going to take mid here is going to get the push, looks like. But it's anyone's game. But their splash does have that clam, and they do have three specials at the ready. Drizzle's E-liter is down, so they don't have that really strong anchor to keep mid control, and we do see them falling down again. One goes down on both sides, and two go. Wow, that's the push over, as everyone but the E-liter is down. That E-liter cannot make a solo push. We'll see. We'll see if Drizzle can rebound it here and try to take advantage of that three-down situation that they had and get control of the basket.
honestly, Drizzle was probably wondering where that defense was the first time. But again, we still have 2 minutes and 5 seconds left in this match. It's not over yet. They're probably still trying to find their footing because, honestly, Spirit Inc., given the fact that they are two crab tanks on
disconnect.
Whoa.
That can definitely change the tides. It is too late for a replay right now. And if they're able to take advantage of that constant one-man down situation, this could turn out very good for Drizzle.
Honestly, I think if they play patiently, they could probably win. Considering how big the lead is, and they are two down right now. They probably could win. Yeah, there it is. They're
Everyone
three
but
down.
that L3 is down, and it looks like they got collapsed in on.
That's very unfortunate, though. I mean, it's like Spirit Inc. can still win, again, as long as they just keep their composure and hold on to their Booyah Bomb, they just have a guaranteed win. But now we just have to like look at 1 minute and 10 seconds of what's more than likely going to be a pure stall match, because Spirit Inc. can't really overcommit to anything, because having a constant member down is an infinite nuisance. You can't be as organized as you want to be.
1 minute left on the clock. We see that crab tank in top mid, and they are going to be pushing in from the left, trying to collapse in on that basket. But we don't really see the support from the ramp, but they do get one in. We'll see if, unlike their last push, they can follow through on that and get some more clams and start getting a really nice push going. But they're pretty disconnected right here, but they are going to get a few in. There are 2 down on both sides because of the disconnect, and they are going to get a few more or they aren't able to get a few more clams in before that basket closes.
So Drizzle is probably feeling a little flustered, maybe frustrated. Of course, given how good the initial push was from Spirit Inc., there isn't much they can do given the situation, aside from having a perfect push. And of course, if they were to do that, in my opinion, what probably needs to happen is there has to be a crab tank on top mid and a crab tank on the far right where the basket is. And also, they probably would need to have a wave breaker on like the snipe area or just a little around that place. But of course, Spirit Inc. is letting off a onslaught of aggression and just a really solid defense. Because of course, sometimes the best defense is a good offense. Is that the saying? I think that's the
It
saying,
goes
right?
either way. It can
Okay,
go either
okay.
way. But we're going to see if they can finally make this. Oh, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to make it. And that is overtime. Despite the circumstances, Spirit Inc., with their amazing first push, takes the game.
Drizzle definitely having to, just kind of wonder what went wrong. And when I say what went wrong, I mean specifically in the opening segments of the match when Spirit Inc. had such a huge push. Of course, when it comes to Clam Blitz, you want to make sure you don't, what is the word here? I think it's snowball. There we go. Perfect. We don't have snow where I'm from, so sometimes I tend to forget the concept. But yeah, you don't want to snowball too hard when it comes to Clam Blitz because it has a TC effect where it is very easy to lose control. And once you lose control, you have a very hard time getting back into the game.
Especially since, in order to get a push, the enemy team has to get right into your base. And when they are right in your base, it's going to be hard to get back in, especially have those really powerful specials in Splatoon 3 that are so great at holding space. It's going to be hard to get back in, and a lot of teams do struggle with that, especially, like, you see that a lot in Clam Blitz, especially, and tower control.
Speaking of tower control, our next map mode is going to be Museum TC. So I love Museum. I think Museums are a really good map. I am unfortunately not like a super big fan of the tower path here because it's so far away from your spawn. You get what I'm saying? Like the first 2 checkpoints, they're like really far out. And most people don't ever take the high ground. They usually fight the tower from from mid or from level playing field. So in solo queue, it tends to like grind my gears. But aside from that, Museum is a pretty dope map. I'm looking forward to seeing how these teams play though. No.
I think that's really interesting about Museum, in my opinion, is how, especially on tower control, is how the position the tower is in changes the positions that the spinners are in, which opens and closes a lot of routes, which makes it potentially interesting.
Oh yes, I remember. I think it was Keen from Good Morning made a video about it. I was in their stream when they talked about, because I didn't even notice until they had brought it up to me.
Yeah,
and yeah, it's just a very interesting concept because I think depending on where the spinner is, it affects on how you can push the
into
state,
Splat,
right?
yeah.
Yes, there we go.
So if the tower is in its neutral position, you can just go right on the spinner onto their plat, which could lead to some really interesting strategizing in, okay, somebody needs to get onto their plat before we start moving this tower, or what have you. Like there's just a lot of possibilities that can come from that.
Very interesting, because there's so much knowledge and information when it comes onto Splatoon, and I'm a bit of an old man, unfortunately. So I tend to be, I'm the very senile age of 19. So we gotta work with. So of course, there's, I believe there's a bit of a connection issue, or there was some miscommunication happening on the side of the teams, I think. Because we've been in and out of this lobby like 8 times right now. So just give us a second, and we should be eventually getting onto that fabled TC Museum map mode combination.
I think most people really like Museum. It's a pretty balanced stage. You do see E-leaders and other long-range weapons doing really well, but that's not something I ever complain about personally.
Yeah, like it's also excluding because before Flounder came, it was the only like good Splatoon 1 map in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's a lot of debate around Flounder.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but at least Museum is uncontested W. Yeah. So shout outs to Museum del Alfonsino. I think I said it right. Hopefully I said it right. There's a bit of an accent on it. But we are finally going to be readying up. I'm pretty sure everyone should be in here. So yeah, we should finally be readying up. I wanted to talk about the compositions. That's what I was gonna say, because we had seen that there's 3 crab tank users at this current moment. We saw Bubelli, L3, or Bubella. My bad, Bubella on the L3, and I think it was
also something I saw on his splash tag that he has Tentabrella like as a sticker.
Whoa.
So we might even see that come out, which would be really, really fun to watch. You know, you don't see the Brellas too often, unfortunately, due to their current state. However,
yeah, I was gonna say the humor that we'll get out of watching a 10 is seeing how the shield manages to not work as it's supposed to. That's really my enjoyment.
Yeah. It's so unfortunate what they did to the Brillas, but even then, it's still it's still a weapon. And I always love to see unconventional comps. It always makes things much more interesting.
That is fair. I tend to be a bit more of a standard guy myself. Like when I know what's like good, I'm like, all right, so this is what works. You guys might as well just use it.
Yeah.
Because the issue with Crab Tank is it's so good. There's kind of like no anti-meta options for a crab tank. So it's either you play a crab tank or you don't play a crab tank, and you probably lose the match because they have a crab tank and you don't have a crab tank.
I don't know. We have seen a little bit of rise in Tri-Stringer with Object Trader as it can 2-shot a crab tank, but it's still pretty niche. But we are going right into this match, readying up. We'll see what we have. We see the L3 coming out again, along with a Zimmy Splatling. That's something you don't see too often, but it does have a decent niche with tower control, having that bubble.
Very interesting, actually. So I'm assuming that Bubella is going to be staying on the L3 for just about the entire set, or for a good amount of it. Of course, we're going to be seeing a early tower take from the center player. They're at least going to be trying to play around it. If I were the T-Tech, I'd try to like touch the tower because there is a passive special gain that your team has once you are the first ones to get the tower. But we're going to be seeing Drizzle dropping the numbers here. 2 members currently down, 3 members currently down. I remember respawning it, but the last one really active action is going to be that.
Like we were saying, this has a lot of potential to be very snowbally if Drizzle is not able to make it back in, and they are 3 down, so it looks like they could even potentially take the second checkpoint here, as there's not a lot of good routes in to get to defending the second checkpoint. And that is that second checkpoint cleared with Drizzle finally recouping, all 4 members finally back up, but the tower is still going.
Tower is definitely still going. Fortunately, Drizzle has at least put a slight stop to it. We're not sure how long this stop could even be because 3 members are still up and there's still ample pressure going onto that flat. We're unfortunately going to be seeing a good amount of fizzy bombs, and if this machine is using LDE, which is a very recommended ability on that weapon, they're probably going to have double fizzies for the rest of this game, so that can be pretty impactful if they do use it correctly. We're going to be seeing a ton of pressure go onto that Viper player right there. A very good pick from the machine. And a lovely Booyah Bomb coming out. They're not careful. The Matt that this Tri-Strike, though, unfortunately, going to make it up.
Yeah, the enemy E-leader is really controlling a lot of the playstyle right now, as they're playing pretty far up, which means that Drizzle is going to be limited on where they can go. And we do see 3 down on the side of Drizzle again, and it looks like Spirit Inc. is getting ready for yet another push here.
You did see that crab tank just get absolutely obliterated. One of my favorite things in this game, and I don't know if it's just my bitter hatred for the special, but when a crab tank dies, you know that little wobble animation it does?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just so enjoying to watch. I just love it, man. I just love it. It just makes my day better. And speaking of making the day better, we're gonna be seeing a bit of. I'm assuming they didn't want that bubble to be that small, so unfortunately, Museum being Museum, unfortunately, just gonna mess up that bubble. but I don't think it should mess up the flow of the game here. With that E-leader being
And
the
that
sole
is
survivor, not even a
ending the
wipeout.
game with a full wipeout. Wow.
Mm,
Yeah,
very
we're seeing some
unfortunate for Drizzle.
pretty dominant play from Spirit Inc. here. But there could be a chance for Drizzle to take it back, especially if in a map mode that is less snowbally than either Clam, Blitz, or Rainmaker.
So if I recall correctly, our next map mode should be. Let me. I'm trying to
It's gonna be
supercharge this.
Rainmaker on Undertow Spillway,
Oh, whoa! Oh my
which
goodness!
is a
Yikes!
very,
Yikes.
very interesting map mode. Two different routes. Most people opt for that route on the left since it's way more protective, but that route on the right is viable if they're all wiped out.
Mm-hmm.
Just for some quick points, I actually I think Undertow is really, really interesting to watch just because of that large divide in the middle. It makes it so where you have to kind of play split up. It almost reminds me of Splatoon 2 Snapper Canal in a way. If you get what I mean,
Yeah, I was gonna say
you have to
it's a
split up.
pretty
It's
fair.
very
Yeah,
interesting.
but it's like, because here's the thing, I like Snapper a lot, and when I have a good team or just players who know what they're doing, I get the Snapper vibe from Undertow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's just the map feels frustrating when you have people who don't know what they're doing. But it's Splatoon. The game will always be frustrating if you have people who don't know what they're doing. Of course, since this is a competitive environment, both teams should at least have a good hold on how they want to push this and how they want to really play around the situation. I'm still interested to see if Bubala will be taking that L3 into the Rainmaker match, because the problem is I don't think L3 has good object damage, and Curling Bomb is not very good on the Rainmaker shield. So there's also that.
There's like one single angle you can throw the Curling Bomb from that it would even get to the Rainmaker in the first place.
Exactly, and it's
Which is
also
very
under,
unfortunate.
which is
Yeah.
a very weak map for Curling Bomb in general.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Of course, I think it is Drizzle Inc. who has readied up. No, Spirit Inc. Okay, I'm already mixing up to you. Oh boy, oh boy.
We're both having trouble with the team names today.
But yeah, so both teams are finally readied up, and we're gonna be going into this lovely Rainmaker Undertow Spillway match.
Let's see it. Oh, we see a double dualies coming out with the Dapples, which is always a fun weapon to watch.
Well, this is Dapple Productions, so they definitely do love their Dapple dualies here.
So it looks like Spirit Inc. was very confident with their composition last time and has opted to keep it, I think, pretty much the same, except for the Junior swapping out for, of course, the ever-present Splash-O-Matic. We do see two go down on the side of Drizzle, unfortunately, but that Dapples is going to be right back up again, hopefully with their beacons that they've maybe placed down. They are going to go, like we were saying, they opt for the right side here, because it's just so much more protected, and it looks like they're getting really close to the checkpoint before being taken out. Now that E-leader, we've been seeing some pretty aggressive plays from them, but they are way up there just trying to take any control that they can.
The E-leader definitely knowing it was finally time to step back after getting rushed by that Dapples. So of course, Spirit Inc., as usual, as we've been seeing for just about this entire set, they have been taking control, and they've been taking control very quickly. I'm very interested in seeing how Drizzle can really even deal with this, considering that there is a bit of a comp diff. So essentially what a comp diff is, it just means that, one team has better weapons on it, and the other team has to struggle in terms of they have to find more picks, or they have to play certain positions better for them to find the real value out of it. Because when you have a machine on your team, and when you have a Splash-O-Matic on your team, you tend to have life a bit easier. But of course, Spirit Inc. still does have a crab tank. They still also have a machine, and they have the best missile.
We saw them have 3 specials out there, and they're going through this slick. They are going to get taken out in the machine. That slick right there is really hard to get through, especially if the enemies are still there. There's just not a lot you can do in terms of dodging or hiding. So, unfortunately, their push does end there. At least for the moment. The E-leader is still in that incredibly aggressive spot. And they take it.
Wait.
Flash second there.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
Spirit Inc. proving that you never, ever leave the Rainmaker unprotected. Not even for a minute. Because something like that will happen, and you will get your leg swept out from under you.
I think I think that's a crucial part of the competitive experience. I think that has to happen to you at least once when you play
Oh,
Splatoon
100%.
competitively or in general. Like you just leave the Rainmaker and you forget that there's still one person alive and they just knock it out. Right? So very unfortunate. Very, very, very unfortunate for Drizzle, of course. Very good if you're Spirit Inc. because now it just means they have two more games and they can knock this set off and go home. So our next map mode is gonna be, ooh, we got a real
Yeah.
banger here. We got a real
Splat zones
MakoMart
Mako.
Splats. Oh, just saying it empowers me. Easily, one of my favorite, if not my favorite map mode combination in this game. How do you
Like
feel about it, Buff?
like Museum, it's one of those map modes that like nobody really hates.
Yeah.
Even if it's not your favorite, you can still acknowledge that it is one of the best choices that we have in terms of game modes that are, really fair and not gonna be knocked out in 20 seconds like a lot of other map modes in this game are. It's just super balanced, super fun, no matter what your opinion on is it, really.
Yeah. Also, generally very well made.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because MakoMart, unlike most of the other maps in this game, there's options into how you can at least go into mid, and they're not clustered. And because of the size of the map, you cannot always watch all these options at one time. And if you are, you have to dedicate a certain amount of resources, into doing that, right? So I do still think that Drizzle Inc. is going to be very confident on how they do this because they already have everyone ready to no hesitation here. They just said, all right, we're gonna be going with the same old, same old.
Oh yeah.
If it's not broken, don't gotta fix it. So we're gonna be seeing that splash, gonna be seeing that machine. Pretty sure there was an E-liter and a wiper as well on their team.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty classic. I mean, aside from the wiper, which I mean, it's not classic meta, but we are seeing it more and more often as people, especially after that paint buff. It's just such an interesting weapon that takes kind of the role of a Tetris and just being hyper aggressive and just bugging the hell out of the enemy team. But it's there is a certain merit to what Drizzle's approach in taking off meta picks, especially if your players are comfortable in their weapons and like are very mechanically skilled with them, it can overpower more objectively better choices. And also, there's the advantage that your opponents, they might know how to fight against a crab tank, they might know how to fight against an E-liter, but if they ever fought against a really good Dapples player, so that's always something that I think is interesting to see. The kind of rock paper scissors of, do we go meta or do we go off meta, hoping they don't know how to play off meta.
Yeah, because they don't know. As you said, they're not sure how to correctly deal with the choice. Of course, we went straight to time, I believe. For the lobby counter. So Drizzle is definitely in that VC talking, trying to figure out how to really burst the bubble that is Spirit Inc. But there's a tall mountain to climb here. I think that's a lot of comp changes here for Drizzle as they opt to go for a very conventional comp here with the Splash-O-Matic, that machine. Explosion tends to be like in and out, but I do believe it is a very strong weapon in this game. So we're definitely going to be seeing a much more interesting match. If you would like to take it away.
It's also a fairly, it sees a lot of use in zone just because of how incredible its painting is. And Drizzle's looking like a pretty slow but patient comp. Like they have two very supportive weapons, but they also have that crab tank which can hold space, and that machine which can make space. But they do get basically wiped out. All but the machine is down, and Drizzle is just gonna get set up. Their E-liters on their stack, and just gonna be able to watch almost all of their entry routes and block them. And it's gonna be, once again, the real struggle getting back in.
That was a very, I don't think you had noticed, but they actually got two people with a singular Ultra Stamper.
I did not see that.
Yeah, they literally kebabbed them. It was hilarious. But of course, Drizzle, as we've been seeing, they've been having a bit of an easier time this match. Just given the fact that they have a very good comp that paints a lot better than I think anything that they've really had in the last 3 games here. So of course we're going to be seeing, I'm at least expecting them to have a easier time this match. I'm not sure if they'll win, but I'm expecting the match to be a bit closer here. Of course we're going to be seeing this Splash-O-Matic just move through the stage.
That's a lead swap. Something that's when you're playing with a slower comp like you are in Drizzle, it's a lot harder to get in, but once you're in, you are able to hold pretty well for a long period of time. However, we do see that once again switch out of their favor, and now they're going to be on the fight to get back in again, especially with that crab tank doing what it does best and putting so much pressure on like half the map at this point.
crab is gonna be doing what the crab. Is anyone on the crab playing object share? I'm not sure if I've seen any of them. But if you want to know how to counter crab, it's you play your crab and you have your crab and use object share, because I think you always win the crab 1v1 if you have a crab object share and they don't.
We see it go back into the control of Spirit Inc. again, and the points are ticking down really fast, and if they're not able to make it back in, they do go 3 down, so this is their chance to make it back in and give Drizzle a fat give Spirit Inc. a fat penalty of 56 points that they're gonna have to chew through if they want to make sure they have this secured as a KO. But as they get set in, they have their Booyah Bomb at the ready, they have their Crab Tank at the ready, and this is looking like it's going to be a pretty strong push. Their points are ticking down, they do have the chance to keep just putting some more points on the board as all of their specials go out. And we do see a Crab Tank on the side of Spirit Inc. In a very odd spot, but... Wait.
Oh, no.
I saw that.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Drizzle popped a crab tank on the right watermelons, and it got taken out by an ultra stab.
Yeah, that was something.
So of course we are going to be seeing Drizzle. Honestly, as I said, I was expecting this match to be a lot closer, and Drizzle is definitely holding their own. They're definitely doing a much better job here. I'm not too sure if this X-Posture wants to stay here for much longer, because we do know once this Viper gets going, they're going to be going. We're going to be seeing this Ultra Slam come out probably any second.
There it is. It gets canceled by the Flingza. You love to see it.
Very, very, very good stuff. This Flingza is definitely holding it down. They just need to get as long as they just back up, because they don't need to be here right now. I'm also going to be seeing a lead change. So if the Flingza just plays patiently, pops their missiles on all 4.
Missiles are going to make it really hard for them to push back in, but the zone is highly contested, and there are 2 down, so it does make they get completely wiped. Okay.
So, Spirit Inc. Honestly, I didn't expect them to retake that. I kind of thought Drizzle was gonna win, but very impressive stuff, especially from the Ultra Stand. They're really fearless in going through the zone there.
Yeah, this has been a much closer game, and Bubella does go down on that Flingza. This is going to be a good setup for Spirit Inc. And as the lead just takes closer and closer, the zone is contested, and we might see another zone swap here. It's looking close. If Drizzle really wants to get this penalty applied to Spirit Inc., and they do get it, they only have 40 seconds to get the zone back in control, and even then, in overtime, they would have to chew through a massive penalty. So it's looking, if you're Drizzle right now, you're feeling pretty good, but it's not over yet.
Drizzle has definitely been showing to be a different team for this game so far. As honestly, I don't think in any of the previous games they're even able to hold a lead, much less for this long here. Both teams are going to be dropping members, but Spirit Inc. is going to be dropping even more. We're going to be seeing a Crab Tank and a Booyah Bomb coming out in the last 7 seconds of this match, and the lead and the zone is going to be remaining in the favor of Drizzle as they finally take a game off of Spirit Inc.
Fantastic. That's exactly the kind of games you love to see off of MakoMart Splat zones. It's what you expect at this point. Very, very good play from both teams here, and great to see Drizzle get their footing a little bit, and hopefully we can see more close games like this in the future.
Yeah, as you had mentioned, Wef, you had said that MakoMart is a match that, or a general zones map that tends to play out for a good amount of time. And again, it is due to the design of the stage. It tends to allow defenders to find entry points back in, and it allows them to not fumble or as easy as it is on the stages, especially like Hammerhead, for example, where if you get wiped once, you're basically done on the stage. So very good stuff, of course, again, from Drizzle, as they're finally able to get a score on the board here against Spirit Inc. You know, they're saying they're not down for the count yet. They at least can show that they are someone to beat. Of course, on our next match, we are going to be going to Clam Blitz on oh my gosh, not Brinewater.
Very controversial stage. I've seen some people really like it. I've seen more people hate it. But Clam Blitz is one of the ones where it is most playable, as you do have that alternate route into their ramp from the side on that ink rail. But it's still such a small map where long-range weapons like the E-Litter dominate, and long-range specials like Crab Tank also dominate.
I would honestly agree with you that Clam Blitz is probably the best mode for this map, because it doesn't have a pre-designated path or general way to play it. Because the big issue with this stage is everything is like okay, the zone is in mid, and the E leader or the crab tank sets up. You're done, right? The Rainmaker has to take a straight line because you're basically forced to only push the Rainmaker one way in the stage. And then of course with tower, we know that there's only like 2 checkpoints, and they're very segregated, and it is very easy to knock out on the stage. For clams, however, there's a lot of traversing that you have to do. There's also there's an ink rail on the bottom left or right side respectively that allows you to also get into the plat of the enemy, which is really cool. So definitely is the best mode for this map, the most playable mode for this map at least, and the most forgiving. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how these teams play off of it.
I'm wondering what we're gonna see from. We've seen quite a few really interesting weapons from Babella here. We've seen the flings. We've seen the flings that come out. We've seen Dapples. We've seen L3, and I'm just wondering. I'm predicting the L3 is gonna come back out. I'm predicting we're gonna see a bunch of crab tanks from both teams. But we've also seen the leader from both teams that
Yes,
Drizzle hasn't been running the last few games. I'm predicting that'll come back out.
The thing with Drizzle is, if I were them, I would probably stay what I had in the last game.
Yeah, if you're feeling confident, no reason to shake it up.
That was definitely their best match so far, and it was also the one that they won on. Of course, given it might have been just a map mode combination, or generally that is the same comp, yeah?
Yeah, that is the same comp. We'll see how it does on this radically different map mode.
So
and we see an Ink Rush coming out from the side of Spirit Ink, which is I don't think we've seen that from them before, but taking the place of the Wiper as that super fast, ultra aggressive Slayer.
Definitely interesting for the brush pick. Of course, we know that from Splatoon 2 days, from the very early days, the C- days of Clam, that brush tends to have a bit of a very interesting advantage when it comes to just running through the stage, collecting clams, and getting those sneaky pushes. So I'm wondering if that is Spirit Inc.'s plan, generally, because this is a lower level of play, and so people might not be as conventional. Very interesting, though. We're going to be seeing this crab tank off mid, getting that pick here, but unfortunately, though, not too aware of the looming threat above them. So definitely going to...
We're just seeing a bunch of big scraps in mid. Neither team really gaining any meaningful amount of control as they just throw out specials, trying to get any little foothold. Drizzle's push a little bit back here, but they're basically at even footing. Spiriting has a slight special advantage, but there could be specials at any moment, really.
I wouldn't be too surprised, especially when there is a Whale 5.1 and a Booyah Bomb ready from Spirit Inc. So they definitely have their defense on lockdown, I'm pretty sure. As we do see Bubella go down, but a lovely trade there. Eye for eye, blood for blood moment.
Yep, that's Splash getting a few nice picks there. We see the Booyah Bomb go out. And this might be the start of a really nice push from Drizzle as they miss the power clam, unfortunately, and 3 go down. That was a really good setup for a push that unfortunately fell a bit flat. And Spirit Inc. is wasting no time and taking advantage of that 3 down situation and trying to rush into their plat and set up there.
Whoever had that clam was just a little too trigger happy. They just an extra second, and we would have at least gotten a score. But of course, it is still anybody's game with us hitting the 3-minute mark. So a very lovely pick onto that exposure there. They're going to be forcing the team to lose their backline, and they do have a Booyah Bomb. So of course, just keep charging those fizzies, keep trying to beat a nuisance. Going to force a crab tank as well from Drizzle here. So Spirit Inc. definitely looking like to have some type of advantage moving into what I assume will be their phase for pushing.
Yeah, they have a lot of clams at the ready. They can make a power clam at any moment. We see this machine go up to 7 clams, and with the Booyah Bomb, 2 go down, 3 go down. This is going to be the start of a really nice push, and that's the wipe.
So now Drizzle is definitely probably getting a flashback from what was the first game here. So they really don't want this to go on for much longer here, but Spirit Inc. is playing a very lovely game. They're trying to fuel their climb economy, doing their best. Unfortunately, 2 members are going to go down, and this more than likely is going to be the end of the push with the machine dying as well. And the last member going down being that E-leader here, so everyone is coming from spawn. And Drizzle is going to be making a push straight into the enemy.
Ooh, that's an unfortunate bomb death. Especially with the Booyah Bomb fully charged.
Exactly.
We see them make the clan this time, but they are going to go down. They just don't have the they just didn't have the resources and didn't have the control that they needed to make that a really long-lasting push.
Unfortunately, they're only gonna get that singular power clam in, and I do. Was that the pity as well? I do. It was very unfortunate if that was the pity.
Yeah, that was their pity clam.
Mm.
Unfortunate.
So now they really don't really have any resources to work with, and we're gonna be seeing most of the clam economy going into the favor of Spirit Inc. here, and the crab tank is gonna get popped, and just a lot of
Crabby
special.
crab action.
Yep. And unfortunately, I do think. Okay, no, the splash on the side of just they definitely have lost their crab ban. So Bubella is going to be fighting for their life, going to be forced into mid. Probably going to get taken out any second here. There we go.
That's 2 down, 3 down, full wipe, and this could look really bad for them, especially as you see a lot of the players of Spiriting in mid going for it. They only need one more clam in order to make this a knockout, but they don't have any right now, and they only have a few more seconds, but they're going to be rushing in, just trying to Hail Mary that clam. But they do make it. There is still a chance for Drizzle to make a comeback. The game is not over. However, it is looking very dire, and they're certain to be sweating, just trying to figure out how they can regain control in 30 seconds, how they can get a power claim in 30 seconds to force overtime, and then you only have so little time to push all the way down to 2.
Drizzle is definitely looking like they might be down for on this match, but of course it's not over until the chickens come home to roost. Spirit Inc. has been pushed back into their base, and there is at least one member marked with that power clam, but I'm not too sure if this Exposure is going to be able to really do anything with that information. So unfortunately, they also have a Booyah Bomb and a Crab Tank ready, so we're going to be seeing one of those get popped any second now. Just make sure they can completely oppress and put Drizzle down for the count.
Every time it starts, one member goes down.
So it's definitely not looking too good for Drizzle.
Yeah, they only have about 10 more seconds to make this happen, and it's completely blocked off with that Booyah Bomb. They only have a few more seconds. They're just trying to take anything out of this. And unfortunately, if they had a few more seconds, they might have been able to make it in, but the game does go to Spirit Inc.
Drizzle definitely hoping they could have continued their momentum in the previous game, but Spirit Inc. has gone up and putting this 4-1 and bringing us to what I believe is going to be match point for the next game.
Yeah, that was we saw, especially since it wasn't a 3v4, we saw a lot more spunk coming from Drizzle as they were able to make one push, almost 2 pushes if they hadn't have missed, had a little bit more control. But I mean, overall, pretty good performance. A pretty good performance there. We'll see what happens with a game 5, and game 5 is going to be or game 6, sorry, is going to be Tower Control on Flounder Heights, which I believe we talked about how snowbally tower control could be earlier, but Flounder Heights is a map where it is especially snowbally. Just with that,
Flounder is a very special case. It is a very.
Oh, it is one of the most stages of all time. With so not only are you on defense fighting an uphill battle, but you're also fighting against that passive special charge that makes it so difficult to get back in.
And that is the big problem with tower control as a mode. Of course, aside from most of the routes being very aggressive favored, you also have the aggressor getting their special advantage, which is, it really makes playing this mode a headache if you're the losing team. It's really, you're laughing on if you're the aggressor. But unfortunately, if you are defending in tower control, you're spending a lot of your time just not enjoying it. Of course, Spirit Inc. is not down for the count. They can still bring this back. Honestly, they could probably reverse it if they tried hard enough. Not Spirit Inc., Drizzle.
Yeah.
Still, yeah. Yeah, I caught myself. Of course, we'll see what Drizzle can even try to bring here. So another thing about Drizzle is they are very methodic. Like they take their time is what I mean. Like most of the times when we are on the lobby screens, we can see them. They're probably talking over like what went wrong in the last game, how they can at least improve upon it. Generally, I think like with the last game, Clams just seems to be their weak mode, right? That's the vibe I'm at least getting off of it. It's probably just their weaker mode, and they need to work on it. But aside from that, they had done fairly well on the other modes, or at least especially with zones. So if I were to like really be them, I try to push this as hard as I can to the next zones game. But fortunately, the next zones game isn't until like game 8. Yeah,
game 8, but it would be a fantastic zones map. Hagglefish Market zones. It's peak. It's peak in my opinion. But yeah, we'll see what they do here. I'm anticipating we'll see some bubbles. We might see the Zimmy again.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised if we see the Zimmy again.
Yeah.
Bubble, of course, is a very good special for tower control. It's just little invincibility for you. It's a free checkpoint essentially. If you use it right. So
On Flounder, what are you supposed to do if the enemy team has a Booyah Bomb charge and a Bubble charged and a Crab Tank charge because of that insane special, and they're just coming downhill and you have no advantage against them?
exactly,
It's insane.
exactly.
It is one of the map modes of all time. Like I
One
said,
of the map modes of all time.
it's very difficult, and hopefully one of these teams can make the most out of it and give us a very interesting game.
We are going to be seeing what these two teams can bring to the table and how they can at least plan to at least work with the resources that they have. Of course, we are there with that legendary match point animation. Shout out to Dapple Productions and all the people who
We see the tent come out. They know it's match point. They know it's match point, and they know it's basically a Hail Mary. I'm very excited to see how this plays out. We also see a Tri-Stringer, which I believe is a very powerful weapon on Flounder. And the enemy team, we see that they're it's the same composition I believe that they ran on TC Museum. So very standard versus a very, very interesting comp. Unfortunately, we do see 2 down on the side of Drizzle, and Spirit Inc. is going to start to get their push going.
Spirit Inc. doing what they have been doing this entire set, making sure they can put on the aggressive onslaught. And with the E-Leader versus the Tri-Stringer, we already know which backline is going to be having most of the advantage, or at least just having the better time here. Of course, a mine is going to be going down on that tower just for an extra piece of safety. Like a good neighbor, the Ink mine on tower is there. And we're going to be seeing...
Oh, that was fantastic.
A very good Tri-Stringer kill from a member on Drizzle, but unfortunately, they're still fighting the odds as a very, 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 very
dancing on that tower. Wow.
Just gonna take the checkpoint as well here. So I believe there's no checkpoints left for Britain. Wow.
This is looking dangerous if you're Drizzle, but as they do push back into mid, there are gonna be jumps back in. The tent goes down. Another one of their team is down. And we might actually, unfortunately, see another push coming out from Spirit Inc. so soon. Barely a chance to return to neutral. And
T-Tech doing what the T-Tech does, striking around and just checking for the enemy wherever they are. A Tri-Strike is getting popped. This is one of my favorite specials in the game, man. I'm just such a big fan of Tri-Strike.
It's very interesting. And that tent gets cornered, unable to even pop their shield to try to defend themselves. Only the splash up, no special charged. No checkpoint left. 10 points. 10 points left on the clock. 5 points, and that is game. And that is it's not game.
Not yet. Not yet. Not yet.
There it is. There it is. A valiant final effort from Drizzle as they do end up losing the set. But
Drizzle, they showed potential, namely on the Mako game when they had the comp switch. Yeah, that was definitely their highlight. But of course, Spirit Inc. being the team to be. Absolutely, with a lovely 5-1 showing that they were the dominant team here. So they definitely have a lot going for them. So congrats to both teams. Looking forward to seeing how they progress throughout the league. And
yeah, congrats to both teams for a great set played. Yeah, that was definitely interesting. I'm so glad we saw the 10 at the end.
The Fable Bubilla 10, as you had said. I didn't really expect it. I really didn't. But of course, Bubilla was repping. You said it was on their banner, yeah?
It was on their banner, yes.
Very proud, very proud. So of course, I do believe that we are going to be packing up. We also are going to be rating a player called AP6, who I'm being told is a part of Division X. But before we go, Wef, do tell the people where they can find you. What are your social medias?
You can find me on both Twitter and Twitch at Weef like the amazing Reef Slider animation.
Oh my goodness!
Along the bottom.
It just
with a W.
It just hit me. It just hit me.
Yep. And Champ, where can the lovely people find you?
You guys already know you can find me at JU5T_champ on all social media platforms. Pretty much, I'm pretty sure I'm on all social media platforms except for Facebook. I'm old, but I'm not that old, so that is gonna be it. And of course, shout outs to everyone here at Dapple Productions. Shout out to the head TO Alice who had put this together. Shout out to the players. Shout out to the TOs in general. Shout out to the casters who are 2 of us, of course, and of course to our No, we're the commentators. Our caster is Suki. Shout out to Suki. Shout out, of course. So, of
Alright.
course, with that, we are going to be rating AP6 underscore. You guys go and show him some love, and that will be us.
Thank you for watching.